machines. I'm kind of an old guy. Let me just say, I'm going to ask Antonio to sort of set the table for our audience. Many of you know Cuba pretty well. Some may not. I remember traveling to Cuba in 1998 during Pope John Paul II's visit, and I heard two Eastern European diplomats describe Cuba as a Stalinist regime. One was Czech, one was Polish, and I figured they know what they were talking about. And I'm not sure that we understand here in this country what that means in 2016, a quarter century after the fall of the Berlin Wall. How can the average American understand what constitutes a totalitarian government? And when I see some of the neophytes treating this, both in the media or in the White House, I think of Jurassic Park, where the archaeologists said, no, these are living animals and they're dinosaurs and they're deadly. But the neophytes insist on, taking a selfie with the velociraptor. And I think about that when I see, Ben Rhodes leading this policy debate or President Obama getting his picture taken in front of Che Guevara mural. And it's, you just think of that, the dinosaur sort of devouring the people there in the pith helmet trying to get their selfie with a dinosaur. So what is the nature of this totalitarian?
And many of the journalists that were there, they were really surprised because they didn't understand this kind of situation where you have a people trying to do a pacific manifestation, you have the secret police beating the protesters, and also after you have people dancing with music. And then this is the kind of a scenario that sometimes we are facing in Cuba, and sometimes people from outside doesn't understand. I think that this is a really difficult situation. Right now, the regime in some way feel more comfortable. They feel with more legitimacy. And now our experience say that they are more violent. They are beating more the people from the opposition, especially women. They are, everybody knows, I think, that one of the leaders group in the Cuban opposition movement are the ladies in white. And they have been trying for a long time to use the public space also to go there and to talk and to make sometimes silence manifestation. And the regime have been repressing that group for a long time. You were mentioned in the introduction that I am in part of the campaign that the name is We All March. And the idea of that campaign is to retake the public space. In Cuba, the government has like a slogan, and they say, the street is for Fidel, or is from Fidel. Esta calle es de Fidel. And what that means is that no people can go to the street to say what they think, to have any kind of public manifestation. And we are now focused to change that situation inside of the island.
So sort of reclaim public space.
Exactly.
And so one of the assumptions...
the reality in Cuba, sometimes Raúl is the good guy, sometimes Fidel is the good guy. And right now they have been selling that idea that Raúl is the person that is pragmatic, he wants to produce certain change, but Fidel and the people that surround him don't allow that. I think that 10 years after, and I think we need to put in context, it's not 1 year, it's not 2 years, it's more than 2 presidential periods here in U.S. It's 10 years after we see the same nature of the regime. They are really violent. They don't want to allow to people to get rich. They say openly. They have been telling clearly, we are not going to move even 1 millimeter. And sometimes people say, no, they are only telling that, but at the end they are going to move. No, they are honest. Mm-hmm. And they show that they are honest in that sense. They don't want to move, and they don't move. And I think that what we have here, if we, in some way, we want to understand quickly which is the logic of the regime, we need to understand that they are moving in the direction to have a kind of tropical dynasty. And the person that is now receiving most of the power is the son of Raúl Castro. You can see during the speech of the President Obama in the theater in Havana that you have in that balcony, you have 3 generations of Castros. You have Raúl Castro, the son of Raúl Castro, and the grandson of Raúl Castro. Then if we want to be objective, we need to realize that they are working really hard, and right now they are doing well to try to success this transition to his son. And I like to say that they are trying to create an illusion. They want to say, we are going to do certain steps in 2018, and after little by little. And what they are doing is the classical trick that they are showing something here, but they are doing back all the transfer of power. Did you see what is happening now, for example, in the military? They are removing all the people that are over 60 and 65 years. That is happening also in the Communist Party. That was one of the results of the Communist Party meeting that finished a few weeks ago. They have different times. They say, well, we are going to remove certain people now in 2016. The next step is going to be in 2018. And the final step is going to be in 2021. Then they have the plan. And what they are doing is to try to gain time. And they are selling the idea or the fantasy that they are going to do certain steps. But what they are doing is concrete steps to transfer the power to their family and to their political allies. I think if we want to understand what happened in the Communist Party, if we want to understand the signal that they sent during the President Obama visit, if we want to understand what they are doing, we need to focus in the dynasty construction that they are doing.
I mean, I think that's really interesting because
in the schedule, the official schedule, and I think that was a good opportunity to tell directly to the President Obama what we think about the situation that we are facing. And my main message was, Mr. President, you and the United States need to decide who are your friends. The people that are pushing and facing the Cuban regime, we are the friends of U.S., of the democracy war, and we are taking the risk for that. And we need the support of you, and we need a clear message also to the Cuban regime. We have been telling from the beginning that we agree with the political process as a way to resolve the Cuban dilemma. We think that the best way to resolve that situation is a political process, but we need a real political process. And not a kind of situation where the government is taking more advantage, and the Cuban people, and even the U.S., is not receiving what we need. And I think this is something that many people are complaining. Inside of the opposition, there is a huge group. We have a platform that the name is the Forum for the Rights and Freedoms. And we have a roadmap where we are asking, if we want to resume what we are asking, is the implementation of the UN Human Rights Covenants. It's something simple. They signed that covenant in 2008, but they don't want to ratify that covenant. And why? Because they need to change then the internal law. And then they need to dismantle the totalitarian regime from inside, and they don't want that. Then I think that here we are in front of a clear dilemma, is who are the people that is going to benefit from this new political process? Mm-hmm. And that, I think, need to be completely clear, not only in signal, if not in actions too.
Absolutely, and I think that's the administration.
When you have all of these elements, the result that we have right now is that in Cuba, you have more people ready to manifest, ready to protest. And I think that this is a really good signal. Even the Chanel parade, can I say that in English? El desfile de Chanel.
Oh, yes, remember that model fashion show?
Yeah. I think that
Chanel.
That was great for us. Mm-hmm. Because this is something like irrational to understand. You have a small place where you have people with fashion and glamour and everything, and you have few meters people living in completely a miserable condition. And this is completely opposed to the speech that the regime have had during all these years. But the good point here is that the Castro's family was there too. Then how people are receiving all of this signal, how people are receiving this situation, and I think that this is a good opportunity also for the opposition movement to show that there is no possible solution in Cuba if these people keep in power. And I think that this is something crucial for me and for many people that we are working together to show to the whole international community, to show to the Cuban people, to show to everybody that if the Castro family is there, nothing is going to change. And I think that this is not something new for totalitarian regimes. There are many countries where we have that certain group of people have the monopoly of the power, and if you don't remove these people from there, nothing is going to change. And corruption, for example. Corruption is something completely tied to this family and to this regime. And if we want a positive change in Cuba, we need to remove all of these elements. If not, we are going to have a mess, even worse than the situation that we are living right now.
That's very profound. And again, I would hasten to add, it's really important to continue to